Hey everyone, before we dive in, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more stories like this. It started like any ordinary evening, a quiet routine night. The kind where the apartment hums softly, punctuated only by the occasional distant sound from the street. Daniel, had just finished tidying my desk after a long day at work. Worn out but satisfied, looking forward to a simple chat with my wife, Melissa. We'd been married for 6 years, and for most of that time, I truly believed we shared a bond grounded in trust, intimacy, and understanding. Lately, though, that foundation had begun to show subtle cracks, tiny fissures in glass, almost invisible until the light hits them just so. Melissa emerged from the bedroom, her expression unreadable, yet I could sense a storm simmering behind her eyes. "Daniel," she said, her voice calm, but there was an unmistakable sharpness that made my stomach clench. I glanced up from the papers I was sorting, expecting the usual discussion about dinner or weekend plans. But her words landed like a blow. "You don't deserve intimacy." For a moment the room seemed smaller. Shadows deepened. Her statement echoed in my mind, a mixture of shock and disbelief. I had always been patient, attentive, trying to connect with her emotionally and physically. I had tolerated her fatigue, her distance, her dismissive gestures. Yet now she dismissed everything between us as if it were meaningless. I didn't react immediately. I inhaled deeply, letting the words settle. This wasn't a fight. It wasn't even an argument. It was a declaration, blunt and unapologetic. And in that instant, I realized that no amount of pleading or reasoning could make her see the value of what we had built together. Slowly, deliberately, I pivoted my laptop toward her. On the screen was a folder I had quietly compiled over weeks. Screenshots, messages, subtle interactions, evidence of things she assumed I hadn't noticed. I said nothing. My silence spoke volumes. Melissa froze, hands suspended in midair, eyes widening, lips parting slightly as the color drained from her face. She stared at the screen, confronted by the proof she never thought would see daylight. Seeing it all laid bare hit her as hard as her words had hit me earlier. Her composure faltered. Defenses crumbled in the face of undeniable truth. "Daniel, she began, stammering, but I raised my hand. No explanations were necessary. The laptop told the story louder than any argument ever could. In that moment, the balance of power in our relationship shifted. Her hands trembled as she tried to look away, yet her eyes kept returning, drawn to the evidence. I remained calm, silent, letting months of hidden actions speak for themselves. Every message, every secret interaction, every carefully concealed moment she assumed I would never see. Each piece told a story she could no longer deny. Her heartbeat accelerated, color returning to her cheeks not with relief but panic. "Daniel, I can explain," she whispered, voice weak and unconvincing. No excuse could erase what lay before her. Her usual confidence, the casual dismissal of my concerns, had vanished. She was exposed and she knew it. "What's all this?" she asked, fragile, almost pleading. I met her gaze, steady, calm. "This is what I've been noticing, Melissa," I said evenly. "The late-night messages, the lies, the excuses. You said I don't deserve intimacy, but maybe it's you who doesn't deserve honesty." Her face turned pale, lips trembling. For years I had endured her distance, ignored subtle warning signs, held on to hope that she might return. But hope without truth is fragile. And now truth stood between us like a wall too high to climb. I had given everything, and yet she had betrayed not only me, but the life we had promised one another. Melissa sank into the armchair, silent, clutching its arms as if to steady herself. I waited, letting the weight of her own actions settle in. Months of betrayal, omissions, lies, they all hung between us. Finally she looked up, tears brimming, voice breaking. "Daniel, I never thought you'd find out," she admitted, control gone. In that moment I realized clarity wasn't in confrontation or accusations. It was in patient observation. She had revealed herself through her own choices. I had only let the evidence speak. Shock gave way to calm certainty. This wasn't about anger or heartbreak anymore. It was about recognizing who she truly was and deciding how I would respond. No shouting, no pleading. The revelation alone was enough. Melissa remained slumped, eyes glossy, bravado stripped away. I closed the laptop slowly. The click of the lid echoed louder than any argument could. Silence settled, heavy and commanding, a silence where truth now resided. I stepped closer, voice low but firm. Melissa, this changes everything. I won't beg. I won't chase. I won't compromise my dignity for someone who disregards it. Shock, regret, and disbelief flashed across her face. She had expected rage, threats, but instead, I offered something far more devastating: clarity. She searched my face, seeking the patient, accepting Daniel she thought she knew. But he no longer existed. The man who had silently observed, endured, and waited was now free to act with the full weight of truth behind him. I didn't shout. I didn't plead. I merely stepped back, letting the tension linger, letting her absorb the consequences of her choices. Every betrayal, every dismissive cruelty, every lie she had tried to hide, it was all exposed. The balance of power had shifted irreversibly. For the first time, she grasped the gravity of what she had risked, the reality that I would no longer tolerate her deceit. Melissa whispered, barely audible, I didn't mean for it to. I shook my head slowly, not in anger, but with quiet finality. It's too late for that. You've shown me who you are. Now I see who I need to be. I moved to the bedroom, gathering the few belongings I had left by the door. A symbolic act of reclaiming the life I deserved. Melissa sat frozen, pale, realizing the world she thought she controlled was no longer hers. I left the apartment deliberately, each step measured, heartbeat steady. This was revenge, yes, but also restoration. Restoring myself to a life free from betrayal, free from the pretense of love that had never been returned. As I closed the door behind me, I didn't look back. The laptop, the evidence, the truth, they had spoken louder than any argument could. Melissa had gone pale because she finally understood. Actions have consequences. And sometimes the most powerful response is quiet, unwavering resolve. I walked into the night with calm certainty, heart heavy but stronger, leaving behind a woman who delivered the harshest lesson of all. Respect and honesty cannot be demanded. They must be earned and reciprocated, or they have no place in a shared life.